Hey everyone, welcome to this video. If you've been reading the news lately, you might have heard of Ayodhya. In case you didn't know, Ayodhya is a city in India's most populous state of Uttar Pradesh, on the banks of the river Ghagra, a tributary of the larger Ganga River, aka Ganges in English. But the reason it's been in the news is because of the temple that's currently being built there. But chances are, what you might have read about the construction of this temple is only a partial view of the situation. The temple has actually been there for at least several hundred years before it was destroyed and replaced with a mosque in 1528, which is where most timelines that you see in the news start, completely ignoring the original temple. So in this video, I'm going to show you the full, real timeline of Ayodhya. First off, let me explain how Ayodhya in particular is culturally important. In the Hindu epic Ramayana, Ayodhya is the birthplace of Lord Rama, making it a sacred site for Hindus for many generations. It was also the capital of the ancient Koshala kingdom and one of India's 7 sacred cities. By the way, the Thai city of Pranakunsi Ayutthaya, or just Ayutthaya, is named after Ayodhya. Let's get started with the history now. And one more thing, when we're covering ancient history on this channel, I'm going to refer to dates before the year 0 as negative, insert the year number, so we don't have to argue about BC versus BCE. So for example, Ayodhya has been inhabited since the negative 13th century, and that was anyway going to be the first thing I mentioned. What a nice transition. Excavations of the site of the temple in 2003 revealed many finds from the period of negative 1250 to negative 300, including terracotta figurines of female deities and a round signet with a legend in Ashokam Brahmi. Sculptures of scenes from the Ramayana have been found from as far back as the negative 2nd to negative 1st century in Kaushambi, 174 kilometers or 108 miles southwest of Ayodhya. Also from this period, a stone and brick structure, most likely a temple, was found. This is the earliest structure we have evidence of on this site. There were similar finds from this period, including animal figures as well as pottery. In the 2nd century, Ayodhya is mentioned in the Alexandrian geographer Ptolemy's Outline of Geography, using the name of Sagoda or Saketa. In the 5th century, the Chinese pilgrim Fa Hian visited Ayodhya. In 636, the Chinese pilgrim Hunsang visited as well. Hunsang mentioned that there were over 100 Buddhist monasteries and that there were 3,000 monks. Now that we have some background, let's actually get to the issue. In the 11th century, India was attacked by Turkish forces. They first reached Ayodhya in 1030 under Salar Masud. Several battles were fought in the region until he was defeated in 1034 by Sohail Dev in Bahraich, 64 miles or 102 kilometers northwest of Ayodhya. Hindu kingdom slowly rose again after this. In 1198, Muhammad Ghori attacked Ayodhya. His forces destroyed several sacred sites, including the famous Jain temple marking the birthplace of the Jain Tirthankara Adinath. In 1228, Ayodhya was made part of the Delhi Sultanate. This was the beginning of a ban on the construction of any major temples, lasting until the 18th century. The chiefs of Ayodhya, as well as Gonda, Bahraich, and Gorakhpur, still fiercely resisted the Muslim forces. In 1394, Ayodhya was taken over by the Sharki kingdom, which was later annexed to the Delhi Sultanate by the Lodhis. But the worst attack at Ayodhya would come in 1528 with the invasion of the Mughals. On the 20th of March that year, the Mughal ruler Babur set up camp near Ayodhya. This event is recorded in his memoirs. However, what exactly he did in Ayodhya over the next few months is unclear, as his memoirs resume again only in September. But it was in this period that he demolished the temple and had a mosque built in its place. Even though this Hindu sacred site now had a huge mosque on top of it, it was never abandoned by Hindus. An English traveller named William Finch visited India between 1608 and 1611, and he noted that Hindus continued to worship in Ayodhya. He also describes an interesting tradition where the local scholars would record the names and lineages of pilgrims who bathed in the sacred river. Further confirming Ayodhya's significance to Hindus throughout the period of Mughal rule, we have an account written by the Austrian Jesuit Joseph Tiefenthaler, who visited the region between 1766 and 1771. He saw Hindus worshipping a cradle, showing that Ayodhya remained alive as the sacred birthplace of Rama. He also noted that devotees from all over India would come to Ayodhya to celebrate Ramanavami, Rama's birthday. As India slowly came under British rule, we begin to find many records about the issue. In 1858, the British government received a complaint from the mosque about a Nihang Sikh named Fakir Khalsa, who conducted a prayer on the premises and wrote Ram Ram with coal everywhere. There were also 25 Sikhs present for the raising of a Hindu Sikh religious flag. A few days later, the flag was removed. This was followed by another complaint filed about Hindus blowing a conch during the Muslim prayer. For the next few decades, there were many more complaints from the mosque. Hindus continued to defend their claim to the sacred site, and it heated up after India got independence in 1947. Though there was some violence, this dispute mostly took place in the courts. In the 80s, there was a popular uprising called the Ram Janmabhoomi movement, with millions of Hindus campaigning for the restoration of the temple. The issue became more intense as various political groups and biased historians campaigned against Hindus. Many historians made their case against the temple with the following claims. They claimed that present-day Ayodhya had nothing to do with the Ayodhya of the Ramayana. They argued that in some versions of the Ramayana the story was different and Ayodhya wasn't as relevant. They claimed there was no worship of Rama at Ayodhya before the 18th century and it was sacred only to Buddhists and Jains but not Hindus. But their biggest denial was of the destruction of the temple by Babur in 1528. These historians claimed that the existence of a temple at the site was just a story invented by the British in the 19th century. Before the 1980s, however, it was undisputed that a temple existed there, until some historians started claiming otherwise. One historian even said that Babur was a quote-unquote lover of Hindu art and architecture, and that he should not be blamed for the destruction of a temple, quote, which in any case did not exist, unquote. As mentioned at the beginning, there was always strong evidence that the mosque was built on the ruins of a temple. For example, some of the pillars in the mosque were clearly from the temple, as is the case in many other mosques built on demolished Hindu temples. However, anti-temple historians still came up with some claims against this fact. For example, some historians claim that these pillars were from a cowshed and not a temple, but the cowshed theory is debunked by the fact that the pillars were made of a rare expensive black stone, which wouldn't be used for a cowshed. Furthermore, these pillars also had carvings on them in the famous 11th century Pratihara style, which also wouldn't be on a cowshed. But back to the timeline. In October 1990, Hindus from all over India gathered in Ayodhya to conduct a prayer at the sacred site and peacefully protest. Unfortunately, this was violently put down by the state government. In 1991, there was a suggestion to carefully disassemble the mosque and reassemble it in a different location, so that a temple could be built at the site of the original temple. This is similar to the Abu Simbel temple in Egypt, which would have been displaced by the construction of the Aswan Dam. So the temple was disassembled and then reassembled in a different place. The next big protest in Ayodhya was in December 1992, which also started peacefully. But soon the protesters broke through the police lines and broke the mosque with virtually their bare hands. For the next few days, there was lots of unrest and backlash, as many temples in Pakistan and Bangladesh came under attack. The site in Ayodhya was placed under tight security as the issue went back into the court's hands. Now that there was a chance to get more archaeological evidence from the site itself, the Archaeological Survey of India, or ASI, ordered an excavation in 2003, which is the excavation that I mentioned at the beginning of the timeline. Among many other things found in this excavation proving the existence of the original temple, the floor of a temple was found under the mosque. The court finally gave permission for a new temple to be built on the site in 2019 and also gave nearby land to be used for a new mosque. In the summer of 2020, the construction of the temple began with Prime Minister Narendra Modi laying the foundation stone. Many people brought soil and water from sacred sites across India. Even some people from distant parts of India walked all the way to Ayodhya to contribute bricks to the temple. And that is the history of Ayodhya. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching and hope you enjoyed. If you did, you can like and share this video and subscribe to the Nature Thread. So until the next video, bye and let's keep learning.